Let's bring in Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State and former CIA director during President Trump's first term. He's also a Fox News contributor. Secretary, always good to see you. Thank you very much for being here.
Great to be with you, Martha.
Let's take a look at this quick soundbite from morning TV. Watch this.
Talking to people in the region yesterday, they believe the dynamics have changed radically and that Iran went from having time on their side to Iran now understanding they are going to have to eventually come to a deal. They're really starting to feel the heat economically if the United States, they say, will continue the blockade.
So everything that comes in and out of Iran is blocked right now. That's a very difficult position for them to be in. Do you think we're getting close to the end of this, and what does that look like to you?
Well, Martha, I don't know how close it is, whether it's days or weeks or months, but if you ask directionally, are we much closer today than we were a week ago or 3 weeks ago? I think the answer to that is absolutely, with perfect certainty, that is the case. It's the case for the reasons that was just described. To the extent this blockade is in place, the Iranians have now played their final kinetic overt card, and they are now going to figure out they can't make payroll. They can't continue to provide power to their citizens. So the situation, the political and economic situation inside the country for the leadership that remains, whether there's another military strike or not, is going to just become more difficult day by day by day. And that will, in the end, cause the Iranian regime have to make a very difficult decision. Do you go try and take one last shot at this, knowing that it will in the end fail, or do you lick your wounds, take the pounding, and accept the terms that President Trump has laid down for them?
So, I mean, this is a radical, theocratic government that has sort of a very different way of looking at the world. And they have said, you know, basically they'll fight till the end to preserve the regime. But then there's this idea that there are more pragmatic people at the top of the chain these days. Do you think that's true?
Martha, I don't think it's true. I don't think it's remotely true. You know, people have been searching for Iranian moderates for decades, and they to me, they're much like unicorns. They're often discussed but seldom seen, right? They just, I don't see that being the case. I don't think these folks are any more hardline or any less hardline. But reality does have a virtue of its own. The reality that they're out of runway, out of time, and out of choices may well cause them to do what the Ayatollah did before, right? He said, I'm going to drink from the poison chalice. They may have to accept a set of terms that they don't like, hoping that 5 or 10 years from now, they can get another run at this thing. I don't think President Trump's going to give them that opportunity, but this is the once-in-a-decade opportunity to deliver for the American people the security against these folks who've been trying to destroy Israel and us for 47 years.
Well, that's a great point, and that's the big picture of this, whether this is a legacy issue for President Trump, whether he can look back and say, ultimately, we broke the back of the Iranian regime and the rest of the world in the region shifted dramatically because of it. And we already see that happening with the alliances with the Gulf states and Israel and the United States, that the power structure has shifted thanks to the work that you did when you were there and also the Abraham Accords and everything after that. But my question is, if they feel they've failed at conventional warfare, ship to ship, missiles that were being flown, you know, in the skies, do they just resort to the same terrorist tactics, potentially new cyber threat tactics to try to debilitate the United States and Israel in other ways?
Martha, history would suggest that will be the path that they choose. Once they are out of true military options, they will, whether that's an assassination campaign or the threat of such, whether it's cyber, you mentioned that, right? I've been very surprised, and I give great credit to our NSA and our security officials. They haven't conducted an important cyber action yet to date. I imagine they have tried, and we have thwarted that. But I do think, Martha, when you asked about is this nearer the end, I think the last and final throes of the Iranian regime won't be peaceful and quiet. They will try one more time to extract something, and that could be not ship to ship, not in the Gulf, not mining, but something that looks very different from that, the way they've tried to do forever. It could be in a different theater, could be in Europe, it could be someplace else other than in the Middle East, trying one time to get the United States to back down, trying to convince President Trump it's not worth the candle. I don't think he'll fall for it.
Yeah, terrorism has been their go-to for a long, long time. A lot of people have suffered by it.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's quick and easy in a lot of instances. So we'll see where this goes. We hope that's not where it goes. Thank you so much, Secretary Pompeo. Good to see you as always.